Hello everybody, this is Bench85. Welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 17, Season 3. It looks a little ominous right now, but don't worry, just, excuse me, a little bit of cloud cover. Nothing too serious. And we are combining some wheat. Winter wheat to be exact. It is early autumn. And to be honest, actually, if I show you guys this, I actually took the liberty this morning of cutting the hay and tethering it, so that's ready to go whenever we get to it. No big deal. And the way I figure it, I'm just going to combine off the wheat, start baling straw, and if I run out of time, I'll just continue tomorrow, because you look at the forecast in the next 3 days, it should be nice and dry. No worry of rain, no worry of decaying of the straw or the hay out in the fields. No worry about the bales decaying, so we should just be able to harvest in peace. At least that's what I'm hoping. What I'm contemplating doing is just baling stuff up and getting silage in, or starting silage tomorrow, and just let the bales sit where they are. Well, actually, I'm gonna have to bale hay tomorrow. So what we'll probably do is we'll bale some hay, and then whatever time we have left in the day, we'll start taking silage off. That will be our plan. But for now, we're going to combine some wheat here, and we might as well talk about the combine a little bit. I don't know if I've ever done this, talking about individual pieces of equipment as things are being run. The combine is one of those things that just is an absolute marvel to me. What it's able to do is it's mesmerizing. And to somebody who doesn't understand how it works, you may not understand why I'm mesmerized. So I might as well explain it a little bit. So obviously with wheat, well, your two differences or three differences, whatever you want to call it, however many you want to think about, depending on the crop, changes what kind of head you have on it. So obviously with wheat, oats, barley, all the cereal crops as they're called, like this, you're gonna have a head similar to this. Actually, soybeans are the same way. If you can see it close enough, you have a cutter bar that's not really moving, at least not on this, that clips it off, and the reel on top makes sure that the crop guides itself into the head as it gets cut, and the auger in the middle brings it to the middle, obviously, and goes up through the throat of the combine. This guy here is considered an axial flow, as you can see here. It's pretty well, actually most of the makers now are using an axial flow rotor, if you want to call it that. Case IH was one of the first ones to do it, and like I said, we had a 1660 and we went up to like a 2166 or something like that, the upgraded version of it. But basically right behind the throat is something called the rotor. And what the rotor does is it basically spins at a certain RPM depending on what crop you're using. And you also change what's called, there's grates that surround the rotor. And that does your threshing. So depending on the speed of the rotor and the gap between the rotor and the grates, changes how hard or how easy it threshes the material. And basically all it's trying to do is separate, all the little kernels in the oats or the wheat or the corn or whatever you're running through it from the plant material. And it does that through the rotor. The other combines use something kind of like that, but it just basically beat it in the first part in the front of the combine, and then everything else got walked across these grates. And actually you can see you see that the bar there that's moving back and forth. I think there's one, yeah, it shows it on this side. Think of it as, well, they're actually called sieves. So it's a giant sieve, a big flat piece that's got gaps in it, and it shakes it back and forth, and you set how wide you want the gaps to be, and it also uses a fan to blow air through so that all of your light chaff material, so all the stalk material kind of is blown out the back, and your kernels of whatever you want will fall through and go up the 2 elevators here that are on the side. Now, depending on which sieve it's going across, it will go up different elevators. The vertical one goes up to your grain tank, meaning that it's nice and clean. The other one is the tailings elevator. It's on the bottom of the sieves. It's basically stuff that the machine's not sure if it's clean enough or not. It goes back up to the front of the combine and gets run through. Now, the axial flow only has one set of sieves in the back. Well, a double set of sieves in the back, upper and a lower. Whereas the other combines generally will have, 3 sets, 2-3 sets, all the way back on the combine. The axial flow is different in that it actually starts separating it out and runs the majority of the material out the back of the rotor, and that stuff never sees the sieves. So it keeps most of your real heavy material, the stalks and stuff, out of the sieves and allows it to clean material much quicker. It's kind of a neat design. So on the back, obviously you got a fan here. That's for the motor. It just turns so that dirt and stuff doesn't stick to it as much. And then obviously you got your auger that comes out the side and unloads. But that's basically what happens in a combine. So basically the ability to go from this wheat here, which the kernels are, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Well, I guess oats would be a better comparison. It's about the thickness of the lead in a pencil. So pretty small and only about maybe a 1/4 inch long. Maybe up to a little less than 1/2 inch long. So pretty small, all the way up to like corn kernels, which most people are familiar with from sweet corn, although field corn generally the kernels are bigger. And then you got soybeans, which are round and roly-poly and about, I don't know, smaller than a corn kernel. And then it can do obviously sunflower seeds, it can do canola. All these different crops can go through the combine, and all you have to do is change the settings on the sieves and the rotor, change the fan speed, the amount of air that's going across the crop. You can change all these settings on the fly basically, and it'll allow you to clean the different crops pretty easily through the same through the same machine. Which that's the part that fascinates me, because it's like, wow, you can take one crop which is completely different. You got wheat, which is about waist high, and pencil lead thickness, well, oats would be little kernels, to corn, which can be 6 to 8 feet tall, and kernels that are 10 times the size of an oats kernel, and a couple settings, no problem, can handle it all. That to me is just absolutely fascinating. Didn't realize that I'm going to get this entire field off basically. Ooh, look at that stutter. 8 frames per second. Yeah, it doesn't like those turns at all. In fact, I am going to back you up. And finish this off myself. Then obviously, if you got corn in the front, you're going to have individual rows. And so each of the rows, in order to keep the combine from clogging up, what the rows do is it cuts the bottom of the stalk off, and then it basically pulls the bottom of the stalk straight down, just rips it down through these stripper plates. And oops, there we go. And then there's plates that are right on top of the stripper plates, or actually the stripper plates are those plates. It runs it through the stripper plates and it keeps the cobs up on top. So for the most part, the only thing that goes through the combine when you're doing corn is just the cobs of corn, and then it shreds it and shells it out and all that good stuff. So you don't have the whole plant going through. And then obviously, if you get to that point, oh, you can see them. These would not be on if you're doing straw because you just want it to fall straight out. These beaters here will spread out the... Oop, I do not want my chainsaw. Will spread out the material that comes through the combine, if, you know, out onto the field as much as possible. So, let's see. Press O. Get that out there. And we should be good to go. So I've got one more field to harvest here. So I'm gonna head over there and do that. And I'll keep you guys updated as we go along. One thing to note, our silage is running out. So this 85% here is gonna go down pretty soon. So we'll have to see where it ends up. I'm gonna have to move this tractor, aren't I? Yep. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Hello everybody and welcome to an early morning. We're getting an early start here. Last night I was able to get all the straw baled, and I actually picked up all the bales from the little field, got it on the wagon, and the wagon's actually parked right now in the bigger field of wheat that we took off. Just waiting for the straw bales to get picked up. So here's the deal. If we're trying to keep this realistic, well, that hay needs to sit until this afternoon to dry out so then we can rake it and bale it. So we've got a morning here where we need to find stuff to do. Wow, luckily we have a whole bunch of silage here that needs to get taken off, and it's going to take quite a bit of time. Much more than just this morning I can handle. So we might as well get started, at least get some of this silage worked up, and see how far we can get before, well, before things go south, I guess, weather-wise. So let's get this out. Luckily, we've got a lot of wagon space here, and this little area that we cut down here is going to work out wonderfully for us. So let's fire up this chopper, and let's start chopping things. Like we're doing okay. Unfortunately, until we get this field opened up a ways, we are probably going to end up running some corn down, especially on the corners. But, oop. See, I was getting too far over. Not a good thing. I gotta get used to where I need to be here. It is easier once I get into the field because I can run my tire tracks right down a certain row of corn that I had already taken off, and it holds it right where it needs to be then. Oh, yeah, I had a feeling I was going to run that down. See, I can run it right across that row there. So here's the thing here. I would like to be able to take this corner, but this chopper, now that I think about it, does not allow me to turn that direction very well. I think the wagon's going to catch, yeah, wagon caught a little bit. So I'd like to turn around here, but I also can't, you know, obviously I can't run over the other farmer's crops. Yes, I know I don't know that field, but I wasn't close enough to take any off, so stop complaining. So I'm gonna run over a little bit here, but like I said, it'll get better once we actually get some of this field taken off. So we got some room to maneuver, and that's pretty normal for real life actually too. Things don't go well until you actually get a field opened up, and I'm hoping I can go along here just fine. I never actually checked this side or the other side actually, to be honest, so it is possible that I may have to go around a tree or something. I don't know, we'll have to see. But and it's gonna be interesting to see how far the silage actually goes. Apparently there was a tree there I had to get around. Oh, there's a big hill here. And looks like I'm gonna get past. Okay, so it should work out. So I feel like we're gonna have to go this direction. And turn around in this little grass strip here. And make another corner. But yeah, when you open up fields here in real life, it's very common to start running stuff down. I mean, it's the only way you can get stuff in. We actually started making it easier by doing like I did down on the other end there, where I made a grass strip, basically, a buffer strip. We started doing that on our fields, and that helped out a lot. Yeah, you don't have as much acres that you plant, but I mean, you end up wasting the outside anyways because you were running it down. So you might as well just, you know, not spend the money and put stuff in the ground and have it lost. So we're gonna run some down here on this corner. We gotta try to get past these trees here too. See, the wagon's gonna run a bunch of stuff down. Not too much though. Oop. Tractor's gonna run some down. These trees are not helping either, so you know, I'm doing everything I can here to try to ease the pain. Angles are never easy to work out. So let's see, I'm at 53%, so I'm not gonna make it all the way around on this next run, which is okay. Still, I'm getting all the way around at least once, so I can't argue about that. That's pretty nice, actually. And this whole deal of, you know, having to spend the morning doing one thing and then spend the afternoon doing another thing, it's very common when the weather starts acting up, when you start to feel crunched for time. That's totally normal in the farming world. Okay, so I should be able to line up now. It's actually taking off more than I wanted to. Well, whatever then. I'll just take off that much then, I guess. Oop, 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 too far. There we go. I left some on the field. Just run that tire right alongside those rows there, and all should be good in the world, right? Looks like our wagon's filling up. Yeah, we're at 82%. But at least this will start evening out. Oh, I left some more in the field. So now that I have enough room here to turn around, I feel like it'd be beneficial to basically open up this side here, open up the headlands. Oop, 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 oop. I don't want to run that over. Darn it. Well, the wagon took care of it. I wanted to try to get in there and take that off, but it wouldn't let me. It looks like we might be able to get, you know, one wagon off here every, a little less than an hour or so in game time there. So why is it not? It wasn't harvesting the edge again. Okay, so we gotta be right here. This will let us take off what we want. Those rows are gonna get run over. Lovely. And it looks like I'm not gonna make it all the way down this pass. So might as well start turning out now. Shut her down for now. Oh, I went the wrong way. Oh, I still made the turn. Not too... Oh, shoot. Well, I ran some over, but that's okay. So we're going to leave this wagon sitting over here, I think. And we'll grab the other wagon, and I'll fill that one up. And we'll head off from there. See, I need to swap you. But yeah, we've got a lot of silage ahead of us. That's okay because we need it. Of course, I was trying to work it out too, work out the math, and you realize, well, we had what, 58,000 silage, something like that. Just 2 wagons here is going to be like 42,000. I wanted to detach. No, it's not going to let me attach. I have to swing this out. But oh. Let's get this sucker lined up. That was not even close to being lined up. That's what happens when you turn the wrong way. You think too much. There we go. There we go. We are down, so we are chopping. I'm going to take a little bit of this off right here. And yeah, I'll continue doing this, and I guess we'll see how far along we get here. And give you guys an update in a little bit here. Kind of where we are and where we're going to go, and wrap up this episode. Alright guys, well, it's a little later than I originally wanted it to be. I was thinking by 1 o'clock we'd start. Well, it's almost 1:30. But we gotta get going on this hay. I ended up chopping off 6 loads. So we've got like 126,000 units of silage in the silo right now. I'm starting to wonder how much I can actually fit in it. Because I feel like there's a lot less space than I was originally hoping. So we may end up having to fill both silos. But we'll just have to see when we get there. But we gotta get this stuff all worked up. We gotta bale it, and I'm just gonna end up leaving the bales in the field. We gotta get that silage processing, because it's not based on what season you started in, it's based on what day you started in. So no matter what, it's gonna take like 4 days to process. It just depends on what day you started in. So we gotta get that thing going as soon as possible. But like I said, we gotta get this hay done too. So I'd rather it be in bale form, because then if something were to happen, it's gonna be a lot easier to take care of. I mean, all you have to do is collect the bales. Whereas if it was still down, then I don't know how you would manage to get it all done in time, because you'd have to still bale it if it starts raining or something, and you're just gonna end up losing everything that you have, and it's not gonna be worth it. I probably don't need this hay, but I would rather have it and not need it than, you know, not have it and be wishing I had it. So that's where I am on that. Oop. Gonna take a little bit more here. There we go. Perfect. So we are out of silage. I should probably show that to you guys. We're out of silage. Hay's getting a little lower, so this productivity is going to start going down on us, especially once the power fuel food is done. And we will run out of that before we get our silage made up. There's no doubt of that. I was trying to judge how much is in the field left for silage, and I think at least half the field is there. So we should be able to get like 250,000 units instead of just 50. But to be honest, if we're going to keep getting more cows and the amount of silage we're going to need, I think we're going to have to start considering upgrading to a self-propelled chopper. I think that's the only way we're going to get this stuff done. So I think it's going to be time pretty soon to upgrade, which means a lot of money that we're going to have to save up. So I'm not sure how I want to do this, because I'd considered getting another field or something so that we had more land to work with, but I feel like that piece of equipment is going to be what we're going to need to do. The other option would be is to lease it for our next harvest season. Get all the corn chopped off and then send it back to the shop. That might be a possibility too. I'd have to look into the amount of money it would cost to do that. But that would at least let us get a bunch of silage chopped up without having to buy the piece of equipment. Because I think I looked into it, it's like 250,000 or something like that we would need in order to do that. And I just don't have the cash flow to pull that off. I mean, we could take out a loan. I'm not sure I want to take out any more of a loan. So I think we have some decisions to make going into next season, what we want to do and where we want to stick our money. Because we do have a bunch of wheat that we stored up. We have some crops to liquidate if we need to. But that's for another day and another time. I'm going to get this stuff baled up, and I'm probably going to go back to try to get a little bit more silage chopped off tonight, at least until it gets dark. But this is where I'm going to call this episode, so I'll bring you guys back next episode as we're finishing up this harvest and see where everything ended up. So thank you all for watching, and as always guys, take it easy.